Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this 10th day of March here. Got a lot of news, a lot of breaking news here. Going to talk about here with the Chicago Bears. That's what we're going to get into. I've got Carlos Mad, New Yorker Chavez sitting backstage. I know we have conference tournaments and everything Friday night. A lot of big games tonight, actually. But a lot going on in the NFL. The Packers are saying, "Hey, if you want to leave, more power to you." That's coming from the president and the general manager. So the ball is in Aaron Rodgers' court. We'll go ahead and take our first and only break, and I'll be back here in a minute and 19 seconds with Carlos Mad, New Yorker Chavez. We'll break this thing down here on Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. After 5 years of doing this program once a week, balancing a 60-hour work week job, I've decided to do the program 5 days a week, 1 hour a night, taking a significant pay cut. So I've started a Patreon page, which is Patreon, Patreon/SportsScope, spelled the same way at the bottom of the screen you see there, for $5 a month, 17 cents a day. You can help support the program. You ask yourself, why Sports Scope? Well, I bring in such big names such as Al Borges, former Auburn offensive coordinator, and I cover the big news in sports that the corporate media will not cover. If you want to contribute more than $5 a month, you can go use the Cash App. The cash tag is Sports Scope, again, spelled the same way. Or you can go to the Zelle app, sportscope@gmail.com. SportsScope has about 5,000 followers and growing. If you want to advertise on the program, you can email me. The word is SportsScope, spelled the same way again, @gmail.com. Thank you and enjoy the program. All righty then. Now I'm back here live. Hey, Carlos. How's it going, man?
Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday, my friend. Happy Friday. Now, okay. Now, let's hit the ground running. Big breaking story. I love these kind of stories, man. Friend of mine, Corey, he reached out, sent me a text. I got to hear your thoughts on this. I said, Corey, I'm all over it. Trust me. The Bears have made a trade with the Carolina Panthers to get the number 1 pick. They give the Bears the number 9th pick, which is their first round pick overall, the 61st pick, which is the 49ers pick. Remember, they made that trade with Christian McCaffrey there, during the season. So they've got another second round pick, a first round pick next year in 24, a second round pick in 25, and DJ Moore, a proven Pro Bowl level truly number 1 receiver. Other than this, maybe pick being just a great quarterback that is Joe Burrow good, or a guy that gets them to the playoffs, it looks like the Bears totally knocked it out of the park here. I've got more to say, but I'm not going to suck all the wind out of the room. What's your thoughts? Bears trading that pick with the Panthers. Panthers obviously going after a quarterback with the number 1 pick.
I mean, but what quarterback are they going to get? I mean, they have Levis is ranked as rated at number 4. If that's where they want to go. But those teams, they better climb up from number 9 to get Levis, right? Because you got Bryce Young, and then you have Stroud, and then you have Levis. So he's not going to be.
Those 3, Stroud, Levis, and Young, it's not going to be Richards.
And they're not going to go. Yeah, they're not going to go back and get a quarterback like similar to Cam Newton and Richardson. Like, I mean, so what are they doing? And they gave up more on the back end of that. I mean, good. That's a good deal for Chicago, but
it's a home run for Chicago.
Yeah, I don't know what Carolina's thinking. I mean,
Now I will say this: Pro Football Talk. This broke about 10 minutes ago. Pro Football Talk says the Panthers quickly got the word to their local writers that they could control, that they could trade back. Scott Fowler of the Charlotte Observer and Joe Pearson of The Atlantic had nearly identical tweets. The Panthers feel now they control the air quote, control in quotation marks, the draft, and they are not discounting backing up in the draft to recoup some of the compensation they lost if they have a couple of quarterbacks they like. The Texans, obviously, you're going to need a quarterback. They've got the 2 pick.
Yeah,
the Colts have they've already let it know they want a quarterback. They have the 4 pick. So Arizona's in good shape here too, wouldn't you say? At 3,
yeah, Arizona's not looking for a quarterback,
right? But they got every non-quarterback pick there.
I know.
Will Anderson's looking good right now. If you're Arizona,
I mean,
the edge rusher out of Alabama.
There's a lot of like okay, so the first pick is going to Chicago, to Carolina,
yeah,
right?
But now Carolina owns that number 1 pick. Chicago has the 9 pick, and they got multiple second-round picks.
Look, Chicago. This is what I'm. Carolina. This is what I'm saying. Look, they didn't really go up to get. It's like this is like a Daniel Jones kind of move. If you're gonna go up, because they like Levis, right? That's what their camp is saying.
Well, yeah. Let me read this. I got this from SportsIllustrated.com. Let me tell you what you think. This was after the combine, which was last weekend. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, this is what Frank Reich, the new head coach of the Carolina Panthers, says about Bryce Young. He has 2 quotes, one about Young, one about Levis. Bryce Young, highly intelligent, very fast processor, very poised, accurate playmaker, checks a lot of the boxes, not all the boxes. No moment's too big for him. Very good player. Seems like a great young man. I'm very impressed with him. Then he gives a longer quote about Will Levis, who I think they like Levis because he's the more prototypical NFL quarterback. He says, Will's another one of those young guys that's super talented, big arm, big size. By the way, Bryce Young's 5'10", 192.
I know.
He's Kyler Murray's side. But this guy's got that 6'4", prototypical, got that quick release. This is Frank Wright on Will Levis from Kentucky. He says, Will's another one of those young guys, super talented, big arm, big size, has good experience, has done a lot, unique circumstances, changed coordinators in playing at Kentucky. How do you factor that in, he says? He says, what does all that mean? That's different to every club and every evaluator, but certainly Will's another one of those guys who has earned the right to be talked about as one of these top quarterbacks in the draft. I think they like Levis.
Of course they like Levis.
I'm not saying it's me. I'm just telling you what I think they're thinking, Carlos.
I mean, look, if you're going to go get number 1, you get number 1, period. Yeah. Levis is not number 1.
Yeah, but how do you know if somebody else, but you're drafting at 9, you could be dead meat by 9. He could be gone.
Listen, I mean, look, Bryce Young is pretty much everybody already got in a hissy fit about his height. So he ain't going number 1 because of hissy fit.
That's what I'm thinking. I just don't think
nobody talking about Chris Stroud. The problem with the top rated quarterbacks is they come from schools that don't have top rated QB ratings throughout NFL. Right? That's the biggest. I think every talent evaluator is like, well, Alabama doesn't produce good quarterbacks, or they're okay quarterbacks. Then
same with Ohio State.
Ohio State, the same thing, right?
And a lot of people, the initial response was Stroud was the most talented there. Remember what he did in Ohio in the Georgia game.
I give you the first pick.
NFL
Robert.
Defense.
I give you the first pick. Who do you pick?
I think they're going to take Levis. If they
who
don't
you pick, who do you want on your team? If the Titans had number 1 pick, who would you pick?
I'll tell you what. If I have a flexible offensive coordinator, which I'm going to have, I would probably take Stroud because out of this group, I think that Stroud did have a great game against an elite defenses. Yeah, they were step off in the playoff game, but out of this group, if I had my choice, I'd probably take Stroud, but Levis may be the best. But man, I'm just not. I was impressed with him at Kentucky like everybody else. Apparently, he was playing through some injuries, changing coordinators. But then again, I wasn't impressed. I mean, if you look at the stats for Josh Allen at Wyoming, wasn't great either. But Kentucky's got some players, man.
That's what I'm about to say. Kentucky wasn't slacking on any number of offensive positions. They had
correct.
They had good running backs, right? They had a running back go down, and the other one came back and picked up the slack. They had two good wide receivers. They had a great slot receiver. They had tight ends. Okay, he did a lot of blocking though because of the offense they were running over there. But I mean, you're gonna give that much. If you're questioning Ohio State and Alabama, they're always in a championship game. Yeah. You're going to go backwards and go to an SEC team that rarely makes an appearance in any kind of championship?
Well, it's always the individual player.
Like he plays in the SEC, but look, Carolina, Wilkes did a great job.
Yeah,
having that team play. They weren't really missing a quarterback. If you think about it, that wasn't what was hurting them.
I'm not in love with Levis. You've seen him like I did, and I'm just not.
Here's the thing: we watch a lot of SEC football, though.
Yeah, watch a lot of the games. Yeah, particularly that Tennessee game. It didn't look good in that Tennessee game.
No, look, I'm gonna tell you now. If Frank Wright picks Levis out of Kentucky, first pick, he failed at his job already. I'm sorry, but he did because he didn't pick the best person on the board.
Do you feel like that loaner's behind this?
Yeah, and here's the thing: if you don't know what quarterback you want, then the biggest issue everybody has in the league. Just pick an O lineman, man, because those big guys ain't gonna be there in the middle of the draft, anyways.
Right.
If you can't sit there and say from the first four guys, I don't know who I want, because my owner wants this guy, but the GM wants this guy and the coach wants that guy. If you guys can't figure that out, to go the best route. Sell the pick, get you some O linemen, get you some D linemen, get you some defense to round out the Panthers got a good defense. They put one or two more players on that defense. They're gonna have one of the best defenses in the NFL. Don't screw this.
They're very quick on they're good up front and they're good on the back end.
The Giants been doing when they got these kind of picks. They get all huffy about, we're gonna get a quarterback, and then especially the Jets, and then just muff up the pick. Look, just do the diligence. Don't you pick the best person on the board in their position. Just do that. And if you go on and pick Levis over Young or over Stroud, you didn't deserve that pick, man. I'm sorry, but you messed it up.
Yeah,
you missed it because it's not like you could. It's not like that. There's any kind of quarterbacks that you can get down there in Carolina that can run your system anyway. Frank Wright don't got some kind of intricate system that nobody can understand.
What if they do have a plan according to, like I just read this Pro Football Talk, that they think, okay, at 9 we have nothing. We make this big aggressive move. We go to 1. We know that Houston wants a quarterback. We know that Indy and Houston's going to compete like nobody's business for that quarterback, right? So you're looking at number two guys in the top 4, and you want to bid war with them.
He gonna pull one on Indianapolis and gonna grab a few picks from them. He could do that. He knows them.
That's what I'm thinking.
He better look. Again.
And Frank Wright would love to stick it to the Colts, man.
Oh, that'd be nice. Look,
Pickles says wants a teachable quarterback. Yeah.
No. Look, Pickles. I'm gonna put it to you like this. It don't matter what you do in college. There's no such thing as a teachable and great up and coming quarterback. It either happens or it doesn't. It's a 1 in a million shot. Because if that was so true, Pickles, all these other guys in the last 5 drafts would be good or great quarterbacks, and they're not. They're not. Like and in fact, NFL football is suffering because they put so much money and there's so much like emphasis on the QB, right?
Yeah.
That all these guys are looking for QBs. Money so high up there, but this is some mediocre football that we're seeing.
Right.
This is mediocre.
Colin Cowherd, he did say that he did make a point about Levis. He says his parents are Ivy League and he's a 4.0 student.
Well, his parents ain't gonna march on the field, man.
Yeah.
And look.
So,
and it doesn't.
But then again, Fitzpatrick went to Harvard, and he was a journeyman quarterback. So,
I mean, look at Brett Favre didn't go to no. Brett Favre didn't go to no Ivy League school. And
yeah, he went to
and he's one of the best quarterbacks ever. Like
Montana did go. Notre Dame's pretty smart. Actually, I'll say that.
Yeah,
Brady did go to Michigan. Michigan's pretty smart.
You can have it here and you can have it here, but if you don't got talent and skill, this is why. Yeah. And I think the biggest the worst thing for NFL football right now is that Tom Brady existed.
Yeah.
Not because everybody's looking for the next Tom Brady.
Right.
And you can't sit there and be like, I'm okay with what I got. You remember quarterbacks like Vinny Testaverde and Jeff George, and that was what you got. You got what you got. You get what you get, and you don't get upset, and you play what you got.
Right.
And these scouts and these players and these GMs, they're all like, oh man, I'm gotta find me the next, Aaron Rodgers or the next Tom Brady. And it's like, bro, those kind of players are 1 in a million, man. And they ain't always on that. It's
not an exact science, by
right?
No
and
means.
It's not always available in the draft. And again, we watch a lot of SEC football, and we're letting you guys know Levis is not a top 5 pick. He might be a top 20 pick.
He just didn't do it for me, man. I think he made 1 or 2 good throws in the Florida game, but other than that, the Tennessee game, he was a total no-show, and Tennessee's not that great on the back end.
How about this, Robert? Where do we stand? Okay, we Tennessee fans, or we follow Tennessee. Yeah. Where do you see Hooker at? What around what number pick?
He did have good interviews. Now he's coming back from injury. Right. I'm thinking probably 3rd round because of that injury, but maybe late 2nd round, maybe late 2nd.
But see, 2 to 3 is what I have him at as well.
Yeah.
So, we've seen these guys. Now, I'm not going to say that Bryce Young at Alabama, I'm not saying that I don't think he's number 1, but that's where he's rated at. That's where he deserves to be.
If he was 6'3", he would be by far be the number 1 guy.
Yeah, I don't even think it's always about size, but yeah. This last 2 years, to be honest with you, he deserves to be number 1 for 2 reasons, right? Alabama's defense wasn't where it's supposed to be.
Right.
Which gave him less opportunity to play the shorter field, right?
Mm-hmm.
The man was pulling miracles out of his derriere.
Yes.
So that was last season. This season, he had to work with what he had. These guys kept going down in injury. His running back got injured, O-line got injured, wide receiver got injured. He got injured. He came back, and he still was doing what he did the year before.
Missed 1 game and played well against Tennessee. Right? Yeah.
So he deserves to be in that ranking. Now, again, just because you're a high-ranked quarterback in college, it doesn't always equate to what you want to do in the NFL. But if you're drafting the best person on the board, Levis ain't on the top 10, man. And if you're gonna pick that Carolina, you done messed up already. And
I hope I'm wrong, because I think it's good for the league when you got more talented players. But the fact that they said what they said, I think they're gonna try to trade it again.
Yeah, I hope so. When you mentioned that, I'm like, Frank Reich gonna stick it to the Colts. And again, I keep saying this, and I don't know if we're on the same page. The NFL ain't really the place to be developing players, man. So don't get one of those QBs and thinking, 2-3 years he's gonna be, Aaron Rodgers, because that's not how that happens, man. Remember, Aaron Rodgers wasn't even that great of a college quarterback, anyways, which is why he kept falling.
Well, he was a junior college transfer to Cal. He had an unorthodox stance. He held the ball way above his head. That's why he fell to 23, 24. And Alex Smith went number 1 overall.
And even Russell Wilson, everybody got a hold of with him, like how tall he actually is.
Yeah.
They was like, no, we don't want this. He's too small to be in the NFL. We don't have an O-line to protect him, right? That was the whole thing back then. We don't have an O-line to protect him. And look what he was able to accomplish. Again, I don't know, man. Listen,
it's not exact science, man. I thought he had too good a line at Wisconsin, and he was a 3rd-round pick, and he ends up beating out Matt Flynn, So, but let's go back to the winner of this thing, the Chicago Bears. Okay, dude. DJ Moore, now I'll say this for the audience. His cap hit was $25 million for Carolina. He's $20 million now that the Bears got set in $95 million in cap room. They can swallow that no problem.
Right.
They got that 9th pick. They got another 2nd round pick. They've got 2 2nd round picks, the 3rd round in 64, the 4th round in 103. Their needs are offensive tackle, edge rusher, defensive line. Where they go at 9? Your guess is as good as mine. I'm thinking that Nolan Smith guy, or maybe there's a guy out of Texas Tech. Nolan Smith's out of Georgia. Blake, he ran like a 4.3 for a defensive end. Who runs a 4.3 as a defensive end? These guys are getting faster, man.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm gonna tell you about.
Bears hit a home run today.
Yeah, they did. And let's talk about Carolina for 2 seconds. Now, they're hurting because of the cap hit they're taking from Moore.
Yeah,
they still paying McCaffrey. They have a couple of defenders that.
Well, they got a lot of that relieved in those trades.
No, because they still holding the McCaffrey.
Some of it.
Yeah, they're hit,
but not all of it.
Right, for this season coming up, they got a partial piece of that. They got DJ Moore. They got a couple of defenders that they're paying. So, they were trying to get out of that mess, and they're able to maneuver this with the Bears. The Bears, look, I don't know. This GM came out swinging. They got an opportunity now to build some depth. I mean, their defense is okay. They need a stronger defense. They need to tighten it up in the back end.
Bears?
Yeah, the Bears need to tighten the defense up in the back
end.
end.
They could not stop the run, and that's very unbear-like last year.
So I think you're going to see
fantasy. They get ran on every week.
Yeah, you can see Uberflus pick up a couple linebackers and some D linemen for sure. And he ain't even and they probably sell some of those picks just to get these guys in the 3rd and 4th round anyway, because those are the guys who are gritty, who are like, oh, you didn't pick me in the 1st round. I'm gonna show everybody. And so there's a couple of defenders out there that don't get any credit. That the Commanders actually like Sweat. Guys like Sweat who didn't get picked like in the 1st round. Stuff like guys like that.
There's 2 of them.
Yeah.
What Josh or the one from Philly?
The one from Washington, he got picked in the 2nd round.
Montez Sweat. Boy, he's great, ain't he?
Yeah. So you can get some of these guys similar, and that are getting upset because they weren't 1st rounders, right? So
so they got the skill positions. Check this out, Carlos. So you got Justin Fields at quarterback. By the way, he needs to put up or shut up. Okay, listen to this. Khalif Herbert at running back. David Montgomery's going to be a free agent. Maybe they use one of those picks and go after Derrick Henry, right? DJ Moore, we just mentioned DJ Moore. Chase Claypool, they got him from Pittsburgh. I think he's not a 2. I think he's like a 3. I like Darnell Mooney as the 2 receiver and Cole Kmet. So they've got all their skill positions. Now they need offensive line and defense. It's very easy to build much easier to build a defense than it is an offensive line. Getting a guy in his prime like that, I'm still just stunned by the fact they got DJ Moore. He's one of the best route runners in the league, man.
Chicago could still pull another one. And what if they give Barkley an offer that he can't refuse, that the Giants are not willing to put up?
Well, they could definitely afford and this is what I was saying last year when all this came about. Once I figured out that Fields is going to be the guy, and we've talked about this 1,000 times. I talk about it a lot on my program, is when you got a young quarterback and he's on a rookie contract, go ahead and get everything you can for him. As far as if you want to go ahead and overpay for a running back, get a running back. If you want to just overwhelm him with receivers and tight ends, overwhelm him with receivers. Look what happened with Philadelphia. I thought they were just fine with what's his name, Donovan Smith. Well, they go out and get A.J. Brown, right? I thought they were okay with Zach Ertz. No, let's go out and get Dallas Goedert. I mean, let's overwhelm this player. So it has to be. It's on you. And remember, he comes from Kansas City, Paul. So he's like, let's get his guy everything. So you're right, Saquon Barkley. Well, they did franchise him, didn't they?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He's still available to be traded. I mean,
he could be traded.
Yeah,
he hasn't signed anything.
Well,
you know,
I
and he's
feel like
in his prime. I mean, yeah, put Barkley on that team. I mean, geez, man.
and Barkley could catch the ball too. So
yeah, he's twice the running back. Now Herbert's pretty good. This guy got rid of a good edge rusher. He got rid of a really good player in Roquan Smith. So Poles may be thinking, I'm not going to go. Maybe he goes running back in the draft. There's a lot of good ones.
Remember, Roquan was he was already ready for a new contract, so they weren't gonna pay him.
Right. Yeah. Teams are getting to the Super Bowl without great linebackers. Excuse me.
But
you know, what if they take Bijan Robertson out of Texas with the 9th pick? He's that good. Or maybe trade down, trade to the teens and get him there. Man, that could be a possibility.
I'll tell you what, that 9 pick is going to be up in the air, bro.
Yeah,
that's up.
Because remember, he said last week, he's like, meaning Poles, he's like, we got 7 players that we think that are valuable to take. We don't want to go past those 7 players. Well, now you have. You're very likely to take quarterback with 3.
It's such a mediocre class.
And the Raiders need a quarterback.
Right now, it's such a mediocre class of quarterbacks, and
it's going to be that year of like Christian Ponder got drafted early. Remember that? Jake Locker. I mean, that is a reach, dude. And like you said, you made a good point earlier. I mean, just sometimes you just need to take the best of player available that fits your scheme, not just a quarterback.
Yeah, don't
have a quarterback.
Your eyes, your eyes get bigger than your.
Yeah,
your eyes get too big, man. And your wallet's not as big as your eye. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, so
Pickle says Amoni is the ideal slot receiver. I'll put it this way: tonight, if Ron Poles in town, he's a big guy. If he's in Morton's and I'm the owner of Morton's, I'll say not only are you eating free, everybody at the tables, man, you knocked it out of the park with this pick, man. Especially because we don't know if any of these players are going to be good.
Right.
We know DJ Moore's legit. You already know that. And look at all this cap. They've got pick in 2025.
The Bears just need to slide in a couple more O-line, like 2 more guys on that line. Not young guys, not guys that are coming off, but they need some really good. They might pick up that guy from the Saints, right? Brown?
There's a possibility. Yeah, you're right. Now, they've got a lot of money. They may get Orlando Brown from Kansas City.
Oh, Kansas City, my bad.
Yeah, he's not signed anything. Right. And McCliskey, now Tennessee may get him. The right tackle from the 49ers.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good free agency, bro.
Oh my God, dude! Monday, it's gonna be on because that's when they can
make the deals.
Yeah, you can compromise on Monday.
Yeah,
you sign the ink on Wednesday, the 15th, and Ben Jones got cut from the Titans. So there's going to be a lot of teams wanting to get offensive linemen if they don't pick up an offensive lineman through free agency, which I would. Because you want an offensive lineman you can trust.
Exactly.
I would probably, if I'm the Bears, maybe take the guy from Northwestern, which is out of Chicago, the tackle there, which I want to see the Tennessee get. That they're drafting at 11, and the Raiders are drafting at 7. So
if they let go of Henry, they can move up.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I mean, possibly there. Ohio State's got a really good left tackle. People are talking about in Georgia, but geez, Georgia players, man, you gotta look over them 3 or 4 times and check all the references.
Right.
You gotta dot the I's.
You gotta give a shout out to my boy who's messed up his knee, tore his ACL, and still finished the weightlifting part.
Oh yeah, the USC guy.
Yeah, my goodness, man.
I think he's gonna get some love for that.
Yeah.
I think so. And then he outdid everybody. He bench pressed more than everybody.
It's crazy.
Anyway. Yeah, that guy, he earned some brownie points for that. Jeffrey Simmons with the Titans, he tore his ACL. And Tennessee took him down in the 20s. He's turned out to be a great player. So this is huge for the Bears. I mean, right now, that is just a A+ home run. I can't say anymore about
Minnesota
that.
And Green Bay got to watch out, and Detroit can't be like they're going to the team that's up and coming now.
The pressure's going to be on Fields. He's got to put up or shut up this year.
Everybody's going to be
Yeah.
on.
So I mean, I know we went 30 minutes into this. It's a big story. It's going to be all over Sports Talk all week. And again, according to the Charlotte Observer and according with Joe Pearson of the Atlantic, Carolina may shop this pick.
They got to.
They want to hold this over Houston and the Indies and say, come on now, we're holding it over your heads right here. So, guys, keep that in mind. Maybe Carolina, they're the smart ones, and one of those teams below them are going to do something crazy.
Sell.
Right. Yeah, me, I would. I'm not. I've been wrong before, but man, I'm just not in love with these guys.
I've been right before, and people still don't sell, man.
Right. So, I guess let me ask you about
Zach Wilson trip, bro. Oof.
Man, what is your thoughts on this Daniel Jones? Switching gears, man.
Oh man, the Giants just didn't know or didn't have any other plan. And to me, I feel like if you're doing the same thing you did last year, then you're really not doing anything at all. But the thing is that there's so money like wrapped up in so many issues in contracts that I don't feel like they had too many choices.
Yeah.
Right. And what quarterback was going to come out of and lead and be available to lead the Giants? But again, that's the guy they picked. I feel like now is the beginning of the end for Dable and Schoen, because it just shows you that they don't have the capacity to move past that Buffalo mindset, which I don't like. It's like just keep the things the same.
Oh
right?
yeah.
And then maybe things will get better if we just make 2 or 3 moves, and that's not how football works. And I feel bad for them, but this is it, man. They signed the 2 players that could have got them a little bit of money and an opportunity to rebuild. And
would you have franchise and trade those players?
Yeah, I would have. I would definitely.
Do you think you could have got anything for Daniel Jones?
The Jets probably would have gave you. The Jets the Jets, Carolina.
Sucker born every day, huh?
Yeah, somebody would have gave a little bit. Listen, he was asking for 45. If you shopped him, he probably would have got maybe 20 to 30 if you shopped him.
Yeah.
Right. And his agents was pushing and pushing. And the Giants kind of got in the Giants' head, because I would have been like, no, go out there and see what you could get.
They could have did what the Ravens did with Lamar Jackson and gave him one of those that franchise, the non-exclusive.
Yeah. So the problem is that if nobody gets that guy, you got to pay out, right? That's the problem.
Well, yeah, it's $34 million. Now, I will say this: if you lose a player outright, to free agency, they get some compensatory picks.
Yeah. I would have that route, man.
And I would have. You mentioned Taylor Heineke. Maybe that would have been another option, but
it doesn't look at this point. They could go out there with Tyrod Taylor. I don't care. You're doing the same thing you did last year. You don't really have too much upside with Daniel Jones. If he does, you think he could do better than he did this year? He pretty much maxed out his potential this year, right? And he did it with very little ranking as a quarterback, maybe just in the turnover ratio and maybe just in yardage.
And his cap hit wasn't that big this year. It was on a 4-year deal.
And if you look at the Giants and how they were rated, they were rated over 16th, 17th anyways in the pro football ratings, right? They're not a top 10 team. So what you did was essentially you didn't help yourself. You just put yourself in a predicament, and Sean, they're going to feel this, man. They're going to feel this. Now, again, they did it. It's a done deal. Barkley's right now our running back, and Daniel Jones is now the QB. So it is what it is. But you're a fool if you think you just do the same thing year in year out, the same thing. Like, you're going to expect different results, man. Come on, man.
Right. I'm okay with this cap hit this year. It's $19 million, but next year it's going to be up in the 40s. They're going to regret that. They're going to have to adjust 24's salary. This guy has no position players whatsoever to throw.
No, that's why I know.
No skill players. Excuse me.
And that's why they could have gone in the way of rebuilding through the draft. They got a ton of picks this year, but so you made the choice of keeping Daniel Jones, to be in the playoffs, to stay in the playoffs, and to be in the hunt. But you got all these picks now. What the Giants are going to be selling their picks left and right, and what kind of players are going to get?
Right.
Like they're going to get players like what's his Dupree, like them similar contracts. They're going to sign. They just put themselves in the Tannehill predicament, man.
That is true. Now they've got an out in 26. This year's not going to be bad. Next year, $45 million cap hit for Daniel Bleep and Jones. And then, of course, in 25, it's going to be 39. That'll be a lot easier than 45. But, man, I don't know why they didn't want to go lower.
Yo, Robert.
Tell him to test the market.
Robert, now Daniel Jones is more value than Dak Prescott.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Dak has got a better resume because he's done it longer. I really don't know what they were thinking more. Colin Cowherd's got this. He thinks more the Mara family's involved, and they've got this nostalgia about a young Eli. He reminds them of Eli. He had Eli's offensive coordinator, Southern guy, good team guy, yada yada yada. He is very good athlete. Maybe it's just because he's got the right coach, but I think they could have gave him a proven contract.
If people are drinking the Kool-Aid and they lost, because if you look at all the wins and losses, I went down them. They hadn't scored more than 27 points in only about maybe 1 or 2 games.
Yeah, and that was against Minnesota.
so understand this, Giant fans, the guys who support Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
Brian DeBoer made smoke and mirrors work in his favor because he knew his defense was going to be back there to balance him out and get him back in a position to score. And even when they were in a position to score, they still couldn't put the ball in the end zone. The field goal kicker has more points than Daniel Jones as far as if you look at touchdown ratio. Think about that. And you just signed this guy to a $40 million contract. So next season, if you're expecting something different and Daniel Jones to be the next Aaron Rodgers, you're out of your mind. You know what? This year, the Giants got lucky. This past season, the Giants got lucky for the 5 games they came back on. I keep telling Keith this. They came back 5 games because the defense did enough to get them back in that position. But it wasn't Daniel Jones. It was literally Barkley carrying the team. Now,
and
all
trick
that is
plays.
And
so, now defenses are tuned into Brian DeBall's play calling. So maybe they take a step back next year, perhaps.
And that schedule is not going to help them either. The schedule is going to be harder.
It's going to be a more difficult schedule. Use the term smoke and mirrors. It makes me think about Matt Nagy and Mitch Trubisky. Remember the first year together? Well, they got in the playoffs, and then after that, we all know all your magic tricks.
That's a great comparison. That is a great comparison. And Trubisky was drafted too high. Right.
God.
So
over Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, just that's why that guy's out and Ron Poles is in.
those three guys are like almost similar. Trubisky, Tannehill, and Daniel Jones.
And maybe Tannehill's a little better than Trubisky.
Yeah, but the only reason he's a little bit better though is because Derrick Henry's running and people are scared that he might get past the second. So it allows Tannehill to press and make runs and score on running touchdowns. Daniel Jones, I don't know if he's like that much of a runner that he should be doing that because the Giants O-line is a very low-ranked team.
Well, they got a good left tackle, but they're not good everywhere else.
Yeah, so he's more likely to get hurt, and you saw that. When they played, I don't know. Again, you got to say okay because it's happened, right? It happened.
It's already done, and it'll probably cost. It'll cost, like you said, Sheehan and DeBall their job. If Jones can stay healthy, we'll see.
For new GM and a new coach.
That's true. Yeah, you just start all over, man. Hey, you'll start all over now. Okay, now, Eric. So I've got this theory now. Let's switch gears. Let's go over. We'll stay in New York because of the Jets. But let's go over to this ice box called Green Bay, Wisconsin. what's his name? Brian Gutekunst. I guess that's the general manager.
Yeah.
Mark Murphy, he's the president. I was reading today, whatever Aaron wants to do, we're good. Other words, don't let the door hit you. Will the good Lord split you? And everything I'm reading, man, they really like Jordan Love. So I got this theory.
Like him, man. I mean, the reality is
listen to my theory, Carlos. You've got Aaron Rodgers, a guy we just criticized when he's coming out of college, but then he gets 3 years in Green Bay, Wisconsin. He turns into this great quarterback. Let's go back to 1992. Brett Favre was traded from the Atlanta Falcons, folks, to the Green Bay Packers. He goes to Green Bay. He turns this great quarterback. Matt Flynn.
Whoa, time out. Before you say anything else about Green Bay,
yeah,
there was one guy there that was very crucial to his development.
Who's that?
Manucci.
He went on he coached.
Mariucci was there.
Yeah, Mariucci plus the head coach there too. Mike Holmgren. My thing is, it's so boring up there that everybody. I should try to take my guitar up there, man, and learn how to play because there's nothing to do but football, and that's it. They got an Applebee's or something. It's a smaller. I think there's something about Green Bay. So Jordan Love's supposedly really good right now, and I'm thinking they really like. Plus, they don't want to pay. They're tired of Rodgers.
That's all.
He's hosting some kind of psychedelic event.
Think about it. You got your $60 million hit.
Yes, he's 40 years old.
Or you got 39. This guy that's under 10 million. Was it 10, 12 million maybe? Less? 8 million?
What's that?
Jordan Love? What was he making like?
Yeah. He's on a rookie contract.
Yeah.
He's coming into year 4, though.
5. This will be the 5th.
No, this will be 4. Remember, he's sit for 3 years, just like Rodgers. You can't make this stuff up.
Yeah, but he's not.
He's 3 years in that icebox he's developed.
Are you but when he's come out to play, you know, his eyes are big and he runs in circles, man.
But they think he's done a lot better since from year 2 to year 3.
That's a lot of love for somebody who ain't showing you nothing.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think he had mop-up duty in the Philadelphia game. That was it. He did okay, but that was mop-up duty.
You're going for somebody who has no idea what a playoff or Super Bowl hunt is because he didn't experience that junk in UCLA, right? They wasn't the championship.
He went to like Utah State. He's from the California area, but he went to Utah State.
That's even worse because he didn't experience none of the championship runs or anything else over there. No. So, I mean, and again, we just said like for a half hour, it doesn't matter what you do in college. The NFL, there's no.
So you think my theory is that's just coincidence?
It's just a coincidence, and at the end of the day,
man, I don't know, man. Mercedes Lewis, who played for UCLA, he's played like 17 years in Green Bay. He's like, dude, for 6 months of the year, it's nothing but football. When I come back home, it's everything else. When I go up there to the ice box up in Green Bay, it's eat, football, sleep, more football. Small town, everybody loves you, but there's nothing to do up there. It's the smallest market in all the major sports.
Yeah, and it's and he wasn't doing too bad in Jacksonville.
No, but he's played with the Packers for a long time. He's almost our age, playing tight end because he can concentrate up there. He said it's easy to concentrate, man.
Yeah, but you can concentrate all day long. It's at the end of the day, you can put in the work all day long, but you got to show it on the field, man. You know, and he doesn't. Yeah. Love doesn't show.
Remember, was you in love with Rodgers? I wouldn't. I thought he was going to be sorry.
But Rodgers, that Green Bay defense was stacked, bro. They had Reggie White and they had
No, White already retired by then. Not in the early 2000s, man.
Oh, you talking about
when he took over after Favre? When they finally traded Favre when he was 39 to the
what team was that? Team had a bunch of. That team had the wide receiver. What's his name?
Donald Driver.
They had Driver. He's a tight end.
Jennings.
Right? Yeah, Jennings. Driver. The running back was
tight end. It was really good.
The running back was okay.
Grant, I think.
No, Bennett.
No, that was a few years later.
But they had an okay. Didn't they have Love? Didn't they have some?
Bubba Smith. What was that tight end's name there? Pickles.
They had
Bubba something.
They had a few guys on offense that Aaron Rodgers could like throw to.
He had hand. He had big hands. That tight end they had. I can't remember his name. Bubba Franks.
Bubba Franks.
Catcher's mitt.
They had that running back that was pretty big. He was a pretty big dude. He looked like a fullback.
Yeah, you may be thinking back in the late 90s, but they didn't have Sterling Sharp. That was 95.
No.
So let me ask you this. So say the Jets get him. What would be considered a success if you're a Jets fan? Does he play 1 year and win a Super Bowl? Does he play 3 years and get to the playoffs? What would be considered a successful move for the Jets if they acquire Aaron Rodgers?
I think the reality is sunk into all the Jets fans, and the reality is this: it's like anything playoffs or more is more than what the Jets fans have seen.
Yeah,
since Mark Sanchez era, and what's his name, that coach.
I forgot. It's been a long. What's the drought been for them?
It's been a while.
14 years or. Time goes by quick, man.
They go by too fast. So, right now, even if they get the opportunity to be in the playoffs, that's one step closer to the Super Bowl, and that's the only thing that the fans really want to just have that opportunity, man. It's been a long time. So, they have the talk show host today, Boomer and Gio's talking on the WFAN, talking about what team in New York was to win a championship, what fan base would get the craziest or would be the happiest. And Jets ain't having championships since '69, right? So
68 with Joe Namath.
Yeah. So
and Jack from Mac and Jack, he remembers it. Remembers the whole season, everything. Fur coats. I'm thinking, perhaps, and like I said the other day,
you can't expect Aaron Rodgers to come in here and sweep and take them all to the Super Bowl, like it's a legit situation. He had that opportunity to take.
Do you think they can win the East outright with Rodgers?
No, Buffalo will be probably almost the same. They'll probably win about the same amount of games, and the Dolphins might. Even if the Jets come in third and get a playoff spot, if they can win the East, they fine. But here's a problem that I don't feel like that team is probably more ready to be competitive and be in a playoff. But at the end of the day, they still have to win those games, and and that's the thing. Aaron Rodgers will help you win 2 or 3 games, and that's what they needed this season, right?
Well, they were top 5 and. I had to really double check. How in New York, you think things are overrated. And then I had to really dig into the number. I did this the other day. Top 5 in points allowed and top 5 in total yards. I think they're third in total yards. So they were, remember, they beat Buffalo this year.
Mm-hmm.
They beat Green Bay in Green Bay. And Sauce Gardner said, hey, look, I'll burn that cheese.
Yeah, he did that Twitter thing with listen, the fans are ready, man. They just want to win, and Aaron Rodgers is a winner. I think that's one of the biggest things that I give credit for the Jets management and ownership is like you're bringing in a winner, and so that attitude kind of gets itself onto the field somehow, and Aaron Rodgers is a pretty serious deal when it comes to football. Is he a leader?
Yeah.
I can't really agree with half the stuff that he does, but he's a gamer, and we didn't have the Jets and New York Jets didn't have a gamer on the field to play quarterback last year. They had Wilson, who was lost, looked like he was looking for
Flacco's washed up.
Oh, Mike White, who wanted to be Mike Hype. He wanted to do too much.
The great Mike Hype.
Yeah, and then they had Joe Flacco, who's past his prime. So
he was great about 11 years ago.
So it's like so we could just leave it at that. The Jets just want to see winning, and they want to get to the playoffs because nobody's guaranteed a Super Bowl. And you can't, as much as you could try to buy yourself to a Super Bowl, if it happens, it rarely happens.
What? Okay, would you rather give more money, taking the chance on Rodgers hurting your cap, or would you rather give up picks and the Packers take most of the money?
Yeah, so I was thinking about this, and there's some kind of right now. There's kind of 2 or 3 interns. They're either in New Jersey or New York or in Connecticut, in some office with the GM right now, trying to crunch numbers on how these how these picks can be used to compensate to get Aaron Rodgers tomorrow. Like they're crunching numbers. Like, can we, give them a compensation? Like if they make it to the playoffs, they get the second round. They make it like they're just trying to figure it out.
I've seen deals done that, and that would be fair if you want me to take a lot of. I don't want to give up that 13th pick. I want to get a skill player there to complement, or
you just got to figure out how to get that management team $60 million for Aaron Rodgers.
Right. You can figure it out.
Right.
Joe Douglas is pretty good. He's good. Other than Zach Wilson debacle, he's done a good job, man.
He's okay, man. It's, again, I told people, and I keep telling you, even if you get Rodgers, you're still a few players short. Like you still need that O-line to shore up.
They probably need some help with that O-line.
Yeah.
You still may have a player available at 13, so it's not a lock that Rodgers is going to take them to the promised land.
It's just an opportunity. And
this may wake him up, though. A change of scenery, I mean, it may motivate him.
I will tell you what, though, if you could take them to the playoffs, just the playoffs,
you're okay with that.
You're already toast of the town. But if you could win a Super Bowl in New York, look at Eli Manning. He never had to touch a football after the first Super Bowl. He never had to touch a football again. He was already making $20 million outside of NFL.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that's my thing. If I'm Rodgers, I take this as a slight. He's one of those guys. If he sets his mind to do something, he could be very successful. He's won 2 back-to-back MVPs.
Again, he's a gamer.
And Bryce Young, what's that guy's name? The running back coming back?
Breece Hall.
Breece Hall, excuse me. Breece Hall is a gamer too.
Yeah.
That guy's a player. I know he's come back with pretty serious injury, but Carter, those guys wouldn't utilize with these other players.
Again, the O-line is a predicament that they're in. They got
right in. He says he craves it. That is true. He'll get as much attention as he wants up there in New York.
He can have as many girlfriends.
And he's got his offensive coordinator back.
He can have whatever he wants in New York as long as he gets here, man.
So what's your thoughts about Derek Carr going down there to the Saints?
I think that the Saints put themselves in the same boat that they had the last 3 seasons. I mean, Carr might win you 2 or 3 more games extra, but you got issues with contracts. Michael Thomas contract, Kamara contract, Taysom Hill contract. You got to find ways to move these guys around. They're in a division that's that Carr is capable of at least winning one.
Oh yeah,
in the next 3 seasons. So
they should be the favorites. I mean, look who they're playing against. We don't know who Carolina's quarterback's going to be. Same thing with who's the guy from the Bucks now? Some Cal Trash from Florida. Are you kidding me? And then
Tampa Bay,
Atlanta. That may be if Atlanta gets Lamar Jackson. What's your thoughts about this whole Lamar Jackson on the non-exclusive?
I think Lamar Jackson has not done himself any favors by not having an agent that can manipulate the situation that he's in and get him a deal. But look, if I'm Lamar Jackson, I'll just sit back and be like, what team has the best O-line for real? Like,
right.
Who has the best O-line? And that's where I'm going to go. Cause I'm not going to sign a 3-year or 5-year deal and be beat up. Even if I got to stay in the pocket. I mean, you can only run for so many people so much anyways, whether you're a runner or not. Like, one of the guys I felt really bad for, and he just kept coming back to Philadelphia was Randall Cunningham. When he left, I was like, good job, Randall. God, you just got tore up in Philadelphia for so many years. I mean, they're like, oh, he's a good runner and an athlete. The guy was running for his life.
Do you think he stays with Baltimore and they ultimately figure it out, or you think one of these teams make a move?
I think that's up to Baltimore than it is up to him. I think he's done. I think he's done with the way that they're up and down about situations. You know, like you don't want to feel like you want to feel wanted, you want to feel needed, and I don't think that Baltimore's a place for him anymore.
Pickle says they're not. Yeah, Desmond Ritter. Atlanta seems like they've got an ace in the hole, and they're really quiet, man.
No, Desmond Ritter ain't no ace in the hole. He's just an older guy.
No, I'm thinking they may try something big in the draft. Maybe go after Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Arthur Blank's going to start to get antsy, man.
Well, he antsy because Desmond Ritter is not really. It wasn't really like
better I think he's than like a third-round pick, anyways.
Yeah, he wasn't better than Mariota, so he's like.
Well, they already cut Mariota,
right? But he wasn't better than Mariota.
No. I mean, he was rough around the edges, and I'm putting it lightly.
Yeah.
You know?
So I think it was too much for Ritter, especially coming out of college, where you're a university that. The bigger games were towards the end of the season anyway, because Cincinnati, they don't have a big conference, right? They're not in a huge conference, so
yeah.
But
Jackson, man, he's I know the Commanders said what they said, but he would be a good fit there. They've got the personnel to count, and plus, be enemy. I could see him using some of the stuff they used in Kansas City.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams are holding their cards and looking at draft value and draft picks, and they just kind of figure out the contracts right now. There's a lot of interns jumping.
This time next week, we'll have a lot of these answered, I think, because we'll know where a lot of the money's going.
Yeah, there'll be less and less excitement, right? Once you start figuring out that you can't make any moves, you're just like,
right. Well, there's always draft day drama. There's always, but it's nothing like the free agency.
I'm not gonna lie. There was some times, being a New York fan, I'm looking in preseason, somebody gets hurt, and I'm like, okay, let's move on to who they have on the practice squad. Because you're just like, really, this is the rosters that we're gonna have. Like, I don't know. You remember there's times the Jets had Jet fans would come in the stadium. It was so bad that they had brown bags over their head. So,
right. Well, the Saints did the same thing.
Yeah. So
I mean, you get the right coach, you make a move with the right quarterback.
Oh, man.
I think the Saints, going back to Derek Carr, man, I think they're going to win that division. And
I think they'll win it out of the next 2 years. They'll win it one time. I don't think it'll be next season, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, I disagree. Unless I just don't think the quarterbacks, they stink.
I don't know.
There's no competition.
Who are the Saints going to put on the field with Derek Carr?
Well, they're keeping their offensive line. They don't need Kamara. Even if they suspend Kamara, they don't need Kamara. Okay, they're still going to have Chris Olave.
Yeah, they're running back. They need a running back. Michael Thomas has to agree to come back on a fixed.
He's already restructured, but they're still working on some other things.
The restructured contract. Not only does he have to come back, he has to be producing, right? Because you could just come back and be like.
I think he'll be okay, but who knows?
You could come back and be like Galladay, just be a chump on a bench.
Yeah, you talk about a guy that's going to get low to no. Plus, Odell Beckham looks good. DeAndre Hopkins may get traded. Now he may end up going to New England.
The thing with Atlanta is Calvin Ridley's coming back. So
he's coming back to Jacksonville. Remember, he was traded. So now Tennessee, they're kind of showing that they want to rebuild. Looks like Jacksonville's a strong front runner to win it again now.
Yeah, let's hold our horses because Peterson has an opportunity of mucking that up.
Lamar stays with the Ravens, then he and Harbaugh both get tossed. Well, that Harbaugh could get tossed, Pickles. Remember,
Harbaugh might just leave.
Yeah, he could. He could. He could retire. Now, Lamar would be under contract. This Lamar thing, nobody really has a clear answer, and I don't think they do. Maybe he signs back with the Ravens for like less than $200 million.
Well, there's stories going around that he's got injuries that he's not 100% from. So,
yeah, personally, there's no way I would go with Lamar, but that's me. I mean, I think he runs too much, man.
There's stories and comments by even Tiki Barber on.
Oh, really?
Tierney was talking about he has a PCL situation going on that maybe he hasn't recuperated from, and maybe he should have surgery, maybe not. Well, and if he's going to move, he's going to have a medical, right? So
wow. Well, yeah, you're right. He'll have to pass a physical. That is true, man. You're breaking some news to me. I didn't hear
It's
that.
not. It's not. I mean, they've been talking about it for a week. I mean,
okay.
You can look. You can go back and I think you go back on.
I know he missed some games because of that.
Yeah, you can go back in on Thursday's show, Tiki and Tierney. He talks about about the PCL and how it affected when Tiki messed up his PCL, how it affected his game, and he thinks maybe that there's an issue medical that people that could be happening. Who knows? Because it's something that you can't just recuperate from and just in a couple weeks. So.
Oh wow. Well, you're right, and if you're slinging that kind of money around, you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars. They're going to give him a physical. They're just not going to sign this guy over the phone now. They're not going to be like Houston did.
Maybe he's avoiding a physical.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, okay, my understanding is this could start on Monday. He could start negotiating with other teams on Monday, which is the 13th.
Right.
But Wednesday, this week, we may hear something on Lamar. At least we'll have some rumors.
I mean, I'm not
air quote.
Yeah, I'm just saying what I'm just saying what I heard. I'm not saying it. It's not coming from my mind. I ain't making this.
No. Well, hey, man, no, I'm talking about rumors where he may sign it. What's other teams' opinion? Don't rule out the Raiders. Remember, Mark Davis, he's nuts, man.
This is the NFL, and the NFL teams go and do things sometimes that will kind of just.
What if Rodgers says I retire? Does the Jets they get back in the Lamar Jackson count?
Aaron Rodgers won't retire.
I hope not. I mean, do you really want to do a retirement with Tom Brady?
Exactly. He ain't gonna go into a Hall of Fame class with Tom Brady, man.
And maybe too much has been said by Green Bay. So I'm fascinated. I think they work out something with the Jets.
Well, but whoever's crunching the numbers better get it straight.
Right. Well, man, we're over the time. Great show tonight. Great show. A lot of stuff. I'm excited. I cannot wait, everybody.
It'll be a heavy week next week, bro.
Yeah. Hopefully we can get back next week. Maybe we'll talk a little NCAA. I know that too much happened this week, but I'm gonna talk. I'll bring Keith Fingal on Wednesday, and then there'll only be a few games Friday.
Well,
we'll still talk.
I told him we should do a basketball show on Sunday.
Yeah. I'm busy. I'm just my mind's fried, dude. I'm fried. I've been doing too many shows that it is. Plus, by the way, I'm interviewing for tomorrow, guys. This will be recorded. Dave Harris from what's the name of this? Let's Talk Again?
No, Let's Talk Sports.
Let's Talk Sports. And this will come on Thursday. I'll air this on Thursday's program next week, so I can watch the tournament. Hey, appreciate it, Carlos. Thanks, everybody.
Happy Friday.
See you next week, man.
We'll do.
All right.